Okay, welcome to Pilates Basics number 1. Today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the basic positions, so our basic posture and how to find neutral in a Pilates class. And also we're going to talk about the breathing in Pilates. So those are two really important things, and I think it's a good place to start, making sure your body is in a good position and making sure that you're breathing, or at least you're aware of how you should be breathing. Okay, and we're going to change positions a couple of times and practice these things in each position. So we're going to start with a sitting position, and if you're uncomfortable sitting on the floor, grab a block or sit on a Swiss ball or sit on a chair if you need to. So I'm just going to grab my block. Okay. And I'm going to sit, and we're going to think about our sitting posture. So we're going to sit on the chair or the block and find what we call a baseline position. So in every position that we work in Pilates, we want to find the neutral position, and that's the position when your spine is in its nice little S curve and all the muscles around it are really happy. Okay, they're going to work optimally when they're in their absolute favorite position, because when you're in a good position, the muscles can go through their full range of movement. Okay, if I only ever held my elbow like this and never fully kind of straightened it and moved it, it would the bicep muscle wouldn't be happy. And it's the same with the muscles around the spine and the neck. If we sit with the chin out and the shoulders rounded, well, lots of things are going to happen eventually. These muscles on the front will get tight. These muscles are going to get really overstrained, and eventually they're going to tell you about it by giving you pain. So if we try and prevent that pain coming on, we want to start and make sure all of the movements that we do are in a good sort of starting posture and hopefully carry that through. So when we're in sitting, we want to think about the head position, the head being over the body. So we draw the chin in, and this is a gentle chin tuck. It's not jamming your chin to your chest, okay? It's just drawing it back, because it's on a shelf and you draw it back. So I want you to do that a couple of times. I want you to draw your chin back, lengthen up, and then release it. So feel the difference. Say you're sitting on the computer here. Draw it back, tuck it in, hold it there. Imagine the drawstring pulling up through the crown of your head, long, lengthen the neck. Chin is in, shoulders are back, roll your shoulders back and down. Think about your shoulder blades, okay? They shouldn't be miles away from each other, and this is what they are. When you're sat rounded back like this, they're stretched apart. The muscles between them won't be happy and may give you pain. So, or stiffness or tightness. So we want to roll them and then keep them back a little squeeze. Don't have to force it back, just enough to open through the shoulders, okay? The shoulders should be in line with the ears, not forwards of the ears. So when we've got that neck position, the shoulders come back in line. And that upper body is in a fairly good position. But then we need to think about the breathing. And this is when I want you to use your towel or a band. If you haven't got either, pop your hands on your rib cage. I want you to bring your band around, okay? And I want you to just breathe into the band or into the towel or into your hands. And again, breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. If you're getting uncomfortable on the floor, grab a chair, practice this in sitting, inhale, but make sure you're not slouched on a sofa. Good. Now when we breathe in, I want you to keep going. I want you to feel some pressure into the ribs. And then as you breathe out, I want the ribs just to drop back down. And again, breathe into the ribs, feel them expand without the shoulders coming up. And down. Inhale. Exhale. When you breathe in through your nose, gently, don't not too deep, and then breathe out through your mouth. Make a sound. It can be a sh or a sh, but it's a gentle exhale, as if you're trying to blow out a candle or make it flicker, not even that hard. Inhale. And And this is what we mean by Pilates breathing or thoracic breathing, okay, or rib cage breathing. What we're trying to avoid is breathing into the upper chest and shoulders and creating tension. And we don't want to just breathe into the belly. I'm sure you've heard about belly breathing, and sometimes that's something they might do in yoga. Yes, the tummy should rise, but the ribs should rise first, okay? The ribs shouldn't be locked down and jammed up. What that can lead to if you're all belly and no ribs is that sometimes you can create like a separation of some of the abdominals, which often happens in pregnancy, but also can commonly happen from breathing badly, doing sit-ups badly, lifting things with bad breathing and connection. So just be careful of kind of too much belly breathing, ribs, and yes, let the tummy just gently rise. So that's something to practice, and that's the type of breathing I want you to do throughout the exercises and throughout all the Pilates classes. Okay, and we'll talk about in the next session how we connect the breathing, okay, to the deep core muscles and to the pelvic floor. But for now, just practice the ribcage breathing and the diaphragm working, which is the muscle that is on the bottom of the ribs, as it's an important part of the core. Okay, so roll the shoulders, sit tall, breathe into the ribs, breathe out, and just let everything relax. Good. Now stretch your neck briefly, right ear to right shoulder, keeping the shoulders level. And come up and over. So if this feels really tight, this is a bit of a sign that maybe you carry a lot of tension in your neck. Your chin might be poked forwards a little. And you just need to work on that neck posture. Drop your chin to your chest. Don't let your shoulders roll forwards. And release. Good. Now we're going to just do one more exercise down here in sitting, and this is going to use the breathing that we've just practiced. We're going to twist through the ribs. So I want you to bring your thumbs to your breastbone. This is a prayer position, and this is called spine twist. This is a really basic exercise that we mostly do in every class in some form or another, as it's great for rotation through the middle back. This is where you get stiff. So let's practice the breathing in the good upper body posture. So breathe in. And as you breathe out, I want you to turn your body to the right. So twist round. And I'd like you to keep your chin in line with your fingertips. So your head doesn't go like this, doesn't go way past. And then you'll bring it back. Breathe into the ribs. So feel this expansion. As you breathe out, twist to the left. Hold it. Breathe in and back. Think about your shoulder blades on the next one. Let's give them a little squeeze, not a massive squeeze, just a little bit of tension. Breathe in, breathe out. Stay sitting as tall as you can. Really think tall, long spine. Breathe in and bring it back. One more. And this is great if you've been sitting on a computer, driving in a car for a while, you get stiff through here. And back. Good. So upper body neutral posture and breathing in sitting, really important one to practice. We're going to take it down onto the floor and we're going to think about our neutral position in lying. So it's nice to start on the floor because you've got a bit of feedback from the floor and that can really help you out. So you're going to lie on your back, take the time to get down there and just relax your shoulders. Remember, let's think about the upper body first. Gently tuck your chin. Now when we lie on the floor on our back in Pilates, if your chin looks a bit like this, so my chin up, if my chin is above my forehead, you could grab a little block, a little book or a rolled up towel and pop it under the back of the top of your head, okay? So that it brings everything in line and I'm looking straight up rather than slightly back, okay? Now our neutral baseline position in lying, we again want a nice neutral spine. So we're going to find that by doing a few pelvic tilts. So check your feet are about hip distance apart, okay? And pop your hands on the front of your hips. I want you to imagine that in the middle between your fingertips you've got a little marble there, or something like a Malteser or whatever you want to think about, a little ball that's going to roll. And we're going to roll that ball up towards the belly button. So I gently push my back into the floor and then I release it away and roll the marble down. So these are pelvic tilts. It's a really small, subtle movement. Tilting under, marble rolls up, and tilting away, marble would roll down, back arches. And practice that for me. One way, then the other. Good. Don't let it go up to the rib cage. This is pelvic movement, and a pelvis doesn't move that far. I want you to try and add a bit of breathing to this. So as the marble rolls down, the back is arching. I want you to breathe in. And as you breathe out, I want you to go the other way. Roll the marble up and imprint the back. Go again. Breathe into the ribs. Let the back arch. Let everything relax. And then breathe out. Imprint. Take the gap away. So you can feel that there's that tilting forwards and back. And we could do this in any position, but it's nice to start on the back because the floor is there. Now halfway between those two is what I call neutral, okay? Neutral pelvis, neutral spine. So your marble wouldn't roll anywhere between those fingertips. It's fairly level. There's a little gap. Remember, the lumbar spine has a little curve to it, okay? So you should be able to get half a hand in there. And this is what we call neutral pelvis. And this is the position that I like everyone to get into to start their exercises on the floor. So feet are hip distance apart, as are knees, and the pelvis and the spine are in neutral. The shoulder blades are relaxed. Think about those shoulder blades again. Sink them down. Now breathe in. As you breathe out, go into that pelvic tilt, tuck, and then progress this a bit more. So rather than going back the other way, I want you to squeeze your bottom and peel slowly off. And this is an exercise I can pretty much say we do in every class in one form or another. So this is a bridge. You peel your spine smoothly off. You feel a nice opening through the front of the hips, but the shoulder blades stay down. And then you smoothly roll back down. And this is a little bit of segmental control through the spine. Breathe in, breathe out. Go into that imprint first and then gently lift. Now you might not feel you can go as high as this, but you don't want to go higher than this. You don't want to become this arched. We don't want tension on the neck. We want shoulder blades down and then we lower. Let's try that one more time. Breathe in, breathe out. Squeeze at the bottom a little bit. Really great for the bottom and the back of the legs. Holds. And then roll back down. Nice and smooth. We're looking for it to be smooth movement. And back to neutral. So make sure each time you release your back to that start position. Okay? Now we're going to move on to the side. And you need a little bit of support underneath your neck for this one. So you may find that you want a little book or a thick book or a couple of pillows or something like that. I use a thick block, and if you are carrying on with Pilates, it's worth investing in a couple of little bits. You can get them all on Amazon, and I have put a list of them in the topics. So the equipment that you might want to buy is listed there, okay? But if you're going to start with the basics, a couple of blocks, a band, and maybe a little soft ball, okay? So you're going to lie with your head to the front of your block or your book or your cushions, and you're going to bend your knees up. Your arms are going to be stacked. So we're focusing again on our breathing and our rib cage movement, okay? So this is our big focus today. We want to keep the lower body still, and we want to think about lengthening through the hip. So see the difference. If you push down on the top hip, you should feel like there's a little gap or a feeling of lifting here. I want you to keep that feeling and don't let your hips rotate. You will naturally pull your tummy in a little bit, and that's fine. We'll talk more about those core muscles in our next basics session. Just watch this exercise if you've never done it before. Soft elbow. You're going to lift up your arm to the ceiling and follow it with your eyes. You're breathing in. Remember, breath into the ribs. And as you breathe out, you're rotating round. So my knees don't move, neither do my hips, but I rotate my head and my ribs to follow that arm. Breathe in and then bring it back. The key is to not let your arm go out of view. So you've got to follow it with your eyes. If you just flop your arm back there and you can't see it, all you're doing is overstretching the front of the shoulder. We want the ribs to lead this movement, okay? So we really want ribs rotating. So let's try. Remember the lengthening through the hips, little gap here. Breathe in, lift to the ceiling, follow that arm. Breathe out, rotate, lead with the ribs, twist round. Breathe in to hold. And bring it back. So I know there's a lot of things to think about, and if you're brand new to Pilates, don't worry. Try not to hold your breath. That's the key for me today, is breathing. Inhale up. Watch the shoulder doesn't rise. Think about slightly turning the palm of your hand just towards you or towards the back of the room, and then rotate. No pain. Don't push into any pain. If it's stiff, ease into it. Let's do that one more time. So this again is an exercise I do regularly. Everybody needs more rotation through the middle of their body and their upper back and their necks. Breathe in. Stay there. Breathe out. See if you can get round a bit more. Use the ribs. Breathe. And then return. All the way back. Good. Now we need to do the other side. I'm going to turn over so you get a sort of a different kind of view of this exercise. You stack your shoulders, make sure your head is at the front of your block, knees bent up. Now to make sure that the back is neutral, bring your feet or your ankles in line with your hip, and then your hip in line with your shoulder. And what that should do is create a neutral spine here. What we don't want is fetal position and the lower back rounded, okay? So check you're in this nice straight line, ankle, hip, shoulder, ear, shoulders stacked, left shoulder, draw it down. You see the difference? Not here, here. And then my shoulder blade stays down. Keep the knees glued, lengthen through the hip, breathe in. And then turn, and I rotate round. So don't worry if you can't get far, don't worry, don't force it. Breathe in and bring it back. So we're easing into this rotation of the upper body. Inhale, keep those knees together. Exhale, twist, 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 move the ribs. Make sure you can see that arm. Breathe in. And bring it back. Good. One more time. Inhale. We're going to hold it a little bit longer. Exhale. Ribs rotating. Head. Shoulder goes with us. Arm just comes along. Breathe in. See if you can go a little further. And then bring it back up. And bring it back to the start position. Good. And just release. So that's a lovely exercise. Again, you could do every single day. Now I want you to come round onto all fours. So we're going to finish our session today in all fours, which is a really nice position for the spine. It's another great position to find neutral in because gravity is eliminated. So it just takes any strain off the back. So all fours in Pilates, we bring the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Okay. Now, if you look at the shape of my back, I have a little curve here, okay? I'm sticking my bottom in the air. If you ask anyone in my classes, always sticking your bottom in the air in Pilates a little bit. And the reason I get people to do that is because that brings your spine into neutral. If you try and hide your bottom and tuck it under, look how flat my back becomes here. That isn't how it should be. And if you spend your life in this position, and it is quite common, especially in some of my lady clients, they don't like that. Okay, sorry about that. So what I was saying was that if you tuck your bottom under, it can lead to back problems because it's not the optimum position. Also, your bottom looks a lot better when you have a neutral spine. So in all fours, okay, I want you to lift your tailbone a little bit. And I want you to practice those pelvic tilts. So you're going to tuck your bottom under and then you're going to release it away. And go a little bit further than you need to. So round your back and release it. Lift your bum up. And again, tuck, lift your belly and release. So you're drawing up with your belly button again as well a little bit. And round. And then take this even further. So we'll take this into our cat stretch. So you tuck under and then you round your back to the top of your head. And then you release it back to neutral. So just tilt the tailbone up. So just think about lifting my tailbone. And again, and we don't want the weight to change between the hands and the knees. We just want the spine to flex and then extend or back to neutral. And again, go under. Now hold it here, breathe in, and then breathe out. So practice that breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Round. Hold it. One more. And release. And then our relaxation position in Pilates is called child's pose or shell stretch. Take your hands a little further forwards, round your bottom back towards your heels. And just hold it there, let your head rest in between. And this is a good position to practice your breathing. If you don't like your arms out like this, you can just put your hands here and rest your head on your hands. And just breathe in and out, into the ribs and out through the mouth. Breathe in, feel the ribs, especially the back of your ribs, expand, and breathe out. Make a sound. One more. Inhale and good. And then walk your hands in, slowly uncurl. Come back up into a sitting position. Sit however's comfortable for you. I'd like you just to take a couple of shoulder rolls and then a deep breath. Lift your shoulders. Drop them down. Shake it out. So that's it for our first session. I want you to focus on your neck and shoulder and rib position. And I want you to practice that rib cage breathing. Okay? And then in lying, practice finding neutral and those pelvic tilts. And you can practice that in any position. Okay? And I'll see you hopefully in the next week for our second session on the basics. Any questions, just drop them below or get in touch with me. Thanks.